Be the same as it was last time.
Michael Tyler, the Harris campaign's communications director, says it's Trump's staff that wants microphones off for a reason.
Trump, with a live microphone, will be ranting and raving, airing his own personal grievances.
As of now, the debate will be on September 10th on ABC. Trump has also demanded a second debate be held on Fox News. And Facebook's founder coming clean about government pressure his company was under to censor certain content. ABC News correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
In a letter to the House Judiciary Committee, Meta CEO and Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg says it's true. His company did suppress links to stories about Hunter Biden's laptop. Zuckerberg says his firm, quote, temporarily demoted the New York Post's reporting after the FBI warned Meta about a potential Russian disinformation effort. Zuckerberg adds, it's since been made clear that the reporting was not Russian disinformation, and in retrospect, we shouldn't have demoted the story.
Zuckerberg also admitted the company caved to pressure from the White House to censor COVID-19 content during the pandemic that challenged the general consensus of the medical community. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update, going over the numbers for the majors this morning. All red so far. The Dow is down 37 points to 41,203. The Nasdaq off 62 points to 17,664. And the S&P 500 is down 7 points to 5,609. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. The Packers need to make some cuts before the deadline today. We'll have that plus the roads and your 5-day forecast up next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 9:05.
This report sponsored by Mr. Holland's Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit MrHollandsHeatingandAir.com.
Back in the old days, people didn't worry about power outages because power didn't exist. But we've grown fairly fond of the luxuries afforded by electrical power. So unless you want to go back in time, you need a backup plan for when the power goes out. Like a whole house backup Generac generator from Mr. Holland's Home Services. We hardwire your new generator directly into your home's electrical system. So when Mother Nature rages or the grid goes gaga, lights stay lit, the fridge stays cold, and your kids stay happy. Call Mr. Holland's Home Services to learn more about your whole house backup generator. 866-992-1717 or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. Wait, did I mention the generator is made by Generac?
Yes, you said Generac.
Good, my work here is done.
You have one more line.
Oh, right. If you want power outages to be a thing of the past, we can help.
It's time for the 2024 MBA Parade of Homes, presented by Nuns. See 14 new homes by 14 MBA builders in 2 locations, Fox River Falls in the Nominee Falls and Autumn Trace in New Berlin. See the latest new home designs, grand finishes, and cutting-edge features in convenient subdivision locations that offer exciting opportunities to build your dream home. Don't miss the Metropolitan Builders Association's Parade of Homes, August 10th through September 2nd. For tickets and hours, visit mbaparadeofhomes.com today.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Gatish Foundation. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. NFL teams must cut their rosters down to 53 players by 3 p.m. Central today, and it appears the Packers have made some moves. ESPN's Adam Schefter and Rob Demoski reporting the team has cut kicker Anders Carlson and wide receiver Samori Toure. And tonight will be a night you'll want to call the American Family Field Roof Hotline as the Brewers begin a series at home against the Giants. FYI, tonight's game is also the return of the Brewers' new revamped parking system. For more information on that, you can text parking to the WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620. Our coverage from American Family Field tonight starts at 6 with Brewers warm-up on WTMJ. Let's check the roads. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Ooh boy, it is a mess right now. Lots of incidents on the system. We have a crash on the exit to Hampton from 4145 south right now, not causing any delays. Those delays, though, can be found on 94 East. The ramp from 41 South is blocked due to a crash right now, the shoulder, I should say there, and that's causing delays stretching all the way back to the stadium. 94 East all the way through to 27th Street. 94 West also running a bit slow. The right shoulder blocked due to a crash at the stadium. Also slow going on 94 North. We have a crash. It looks like it is on the ramp from 9th and Mineral Street, that right shoulder block there due to a crash. And that's causing delays to stretch all the way back down to about Oklahoma Avenue. And also 894 West, we have a crash that is blocking, or 894 East. The left lane is blocked due to a crash there, 894 East. And so backups are stretching from about Loomis all the way to the Hale. And then 894 West through the construction zone from the Mitchell to about Forest Home is slow as well.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
While you're navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line, 414-238-9329.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. An excessive heat warning is in effect for all of southeast Wisconsin except Fond du Lac and Sheboygan counties. Those are under heat advisories today. Both take effect at 11 a.m. and run until 7 this evening. It will be hot, it will be humid, and it will be sunny. And there is a chance for afternoon thunderstorms as well, some of which could become strong to severe. A high of 93 today. Heat index values could approach 110, only falling down to 70 tonight for the low. Partly cloudy, still a bit humid for your Wednesday, but noticeably cooler, a high of 79. Chance of storms late on Thursday, 78. Storms early Friday, 82. And mostly sunny. And finally, the humidity lowers on Saturday with a high of 81 degrees. Right now in Madison, it is partly cloudy and 79, 75 and cloudy in Green Bay, mostly sunny, 80 in Waukesha, and in Milwaukee, it's partly cloudy and 82 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 910.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
And good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Let's get right to it. I'm sure he's happy today, although I know a lot of things irritate author, blogger, columnist. What else do you do? Podcaster. And by the way, if you're on a long trip, International Flight, Anti-Knowledge, his latest book, Christian Snyder, is a great read. Kind of makes the time go quickly. Good morning, Christian Snyder.
I imagine it puts you to sleep until the time goes even quicker.
I don't think so. I actually did that very thing on my last trip, so good on you. All right. I want to play something for you because I want to see what you have to say about this. This is the vice president, at least a choice, for Kamala Harris speaking. I don't even know where he was speaking. Let's just listen to it.
You know, you might not know it, but I haven't given a lot of big speeches like this. But I have given a lot of pep talks. So let me finish with this, team. It's the fourth quarter. We're down a field goal, but we're on offense and we've got the ball. We're driving down the field. And boy, do we have the right team.
All right, that's enough of Tim Walz. Does Tim Walz irritate you, Christian Snyder?
Oh, brother. So everybody imputes Tim Walz with all these, Midwestern kind of hokey, types of aw shucksism, and I'm sorry, I just don't see it. It's kind of a statement on what people around the country feel about Midwesterners, that we're more moderate, we're more polite. When he gave a speech at the Democratic convention, I saw a guy who was kind of irritable and irascible and was kind of shouting. I just didn't kind of see this at all. And it's interesting that he's made his kind of go-to motto, mind your own damn business.
Right.
And he says that's like the official saying of Minnesota. I know a lot of Minnesotans. I've never heard any of them say, mind your own damn business, because if there's one state that you would say that was not the motto, it would be Minnesota. I mean, they have a pretty stringent progressive streak there in which the government will tell you to do all sorts of things and not let you mind your business. They have a history of Paul Wellstone and Al Franken and all these other pretty hardcore progressives. So, Tim Walz himself, tried to pass huge tax increases. He had during COVID, he had a snitch line where you could call and report your neighbors.
Oh, yes.
That's not really minding your own business. I mean, as Minneapolis burned during the riots, you literally could not mind your own business because it was probably on fire. So, this is not going to work. The way Democrats made it sound during their convention was that they're now the Republican Party of 2012 or something, with freedom and joy and patriotism and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if you hear the type of stuff Tim Walz really talks about, it doesn't really fit into that. And most importantly of all, he's a Vikings fan, which is just a sign of poor judgment all around.
Yeah, I mean, well said. But I will say, to me, he's like a goofy Minnesotan. He's got the voice, he's got some of the characteristics, the mannerisms, but I mean, I guess from a political perspective, all of that aside, is he? I asked this question on my show poll today on the Twitter, whether people look at the vice presidential candidates as part of the ticket, or they just sort of focus on the top person, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. I mean, to me, it's the top person, not the lower part of that ticket.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. These are all minor complaints because, the vice presidential candidate becomes important when they actually start to hurt the ticket, which I think J.D. Vance, who's a total weirdo, has done for Republicans. I think Sarah Palin, after a huge surge following the 2008 Republican convention, I think she started to hurt. After Saturday Night Live started to make fun of her and Tina Fey.
In a big way.
And then she started doing her interviews with Katie Couric and things like that, and so I think it all fell apart there. But I do think they make a difference, and I think J.D. Vance is making a difference in the opposite way for Republicans right now. I mean, the guy can't even order a donut and sound like a normal person.
Yeah, you can just Google that and you can see the awkwardness of him. So let's take a break, and I want to get to that because, I mean, a lot of the questions for Republicans or conservatives who don't like Donald Trump is, are we going to actually do something which would be extremely significant, which is to actually vote for the Democrat in this race? A lot of people sort of figuring that part of this next step out as we launch to November. Christian Snyder, author, columnist, all-around great guy, joins me on every other Tuesday right here on WTMJ.
Tony Drake here from Drake & Associates. Big news. Our Retirement Ready radio show is moving to a new time slot. Catch us at noon every Saturday. At Drake & Associates, we craft tailor-made plans that not only meet your financial needs, but align seamlessly with your unique lifestyle. Tune in at noon on Saturdays and get retirement ready.
Drake & Associates, LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates, LLC does not provide legal or tax advice.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi. Yet another strong storm rolled through my city, Oak Creek, and South Milwaukee, maybe in your area as well, caused damage at my house. Thankfully, I knew exactly what to do. I called my friends Jeff and Jake. Just saw them on Saturday. Loyal Family Renovations. And they came by, assessed my damage. Not only that, they've replaced my roof. If your home has suffered storm damage, don't leave it up to the out-of-towners. Loyal Family is family-owned, and the loyalty belongs to their customers. Contact them today for a free damage inspection. That's the first thing you should do. Don't look at the out-of-towners. Look at the local folks. They'll help make your home remodeling dreams a reality as well. Check it all out. LoyalFamilyRenovations.com.
We love being a trusted friend in the community for those who need an attorney but don't know where to turn. Our clients aren't the kind of people who typically bring lawsuits. Our clients have been hurt in a crash or accident and need our help and advice. I'm Jeff Zergabel of Pasternak and Zergabel. Frank Pasternak and I are injury lawyers living, working, and giving back in our community. When you need help from exceptional personal injury lawyers, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com.
Your basement. Ooh, wall cracks. Oh no, seepage. And stains on the bottom of those walls. Terrifying. The only thing scarier than basement issues are businesses that prey on your fear over those terrifying foundational cracks. The team at Gatish Foundation never uses high-pressure sales tactics. Over 90% of Gatish Foundation's jobs are through referrals. So, for an honest opinion on the condition of your basement, call Gatish Foundation today. Spelled G-A-I-Dish. Gatish.com.
Author columnist Christian Snyder joining us as he does every other Tuesday right here on 620 WTMJ.
And so you have two competing groups. You have the people that say, the never Trumpers that say you absolutely have to vote for Kamala Harris, and the ones that say, well, you shouldn't be telling people who to vote for and whatever. I'm with the latter group. I just think the role of media, and there are so many more outlets now and people writing about politics, a lot of people see themselves more as political activists, political strategists, rather than actual columnists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the columnists that I grew up writing would never tell you who they're voting for or tell you who to vote for, because I don't care who you're voting for, and I care even less about who you want me to vote for. I think the role of a columnist or a media outlet is to tell you kind of what the facts on the ground are, how this might affect somebody, us all, if somebody gets elected. But it's not to push a specific candidate. Once you get into the business of telling people that they should vote for a specific person, then you're really just part of their campaign, and you'll start to pull your punches when it comes to criticizing certain politicians. So I am on team. Don't tell me who to vote for. And, a lot of people are saying, well, this is a binary decision. You either vote for Kamala Harris or you're essentially, you're voting for Trump again. And I get that, and I don't like Trump. But there's a case to be made that if, you want to get rid of Trumpism, if you've seen what he's done for conservatism that doesn't even really exist anymore, then there's a case to be made for Harris. But, explicitly telling people who to vote for, I don't think is the role of a columnist or a news outlet.
Yeah, and you also, when you do that, when you take the next step of identifying the person that you're going to cast your vote for, you've sort of alienated maybe half your audience. So I don't know that even makes sense from a consumer perspective or someone who produces content. That doesn't make any sense. As somebody who has written in candidates in the last two presidential elections, I'm not unbiased on this thing. But I tell people all the time, I was at a small group event yesterday, and I said, look, I don't care who you vote for. It doesn't matter to me. I will tell you what I think of the candidates. I will try to present information that sort of explains why they do what they do or why they say the things that they want to do while in their office. But again, that's not really, I think, my role. And when we see these constant back and forth about this stuff, sort it out on your own. Figure it out. I guess the best thing we can do, Christian Snyder, in your columns, me on the radio, is just tell people what we are thinking about these things, these issues, these policy ideas, these candidacies, and sort of let the chips fall.
Yeah, let people vote for whomever they want. They're not bad people because they vote for Trump. They're not great people because they vote for Kamala Harris. But everybody should know the consequences for what you're voting for and how it might affect things in the future, and that's really kind of, as a columnist, what I try to do.
Somebody asked about the weirdo comment on J.D. Vance. I'll certainly give you the opportunity to explain that. He's been considered as a candidate that's just sort of an odd duck or sort of acts rather stiffly. Is that what you're pointing to?
Yeah, there's a video of him trying to order donuts at a donut shop that it's just really awkward. And look, he's changed completely who he was in the last few years. And I think when somebody does that, when you change your entire personality, look, I did this for girls in high school. Like I would pretend to be a surfer or something to try to get them to date me or whatever. But
how'd that work for you, Christian?
Not well at all. So I can tell you when you try to become someone completely different in order to excite somebody else, it just doesn't work. It takes time for you to figure out who this new you is, and I don't think J.D. Vance has done that very successfully so far.
All right, author and columnist Christian Snyder, going to stick around for one more, and I guess the question in that last segment is to mute or not to mute. The question in the next debate, maybe the only debate. We'll have that conversation with Christian Snyder after this on 620 WTMJ.
You've worked hard and planned for retirement, but how can you be sure you'll have financial independence so you can enjoy your retirement years? Let Creative Planning help with a free retirement review. We'll look at your retirement goals and see if you have the right returns and risk profile to get you there. And if you're already retired, what withdrawal strategy you should use and how to maximize your income in retirement. Request your free retirement review. This offer is only good till Monday at midnight. Go to creativeplanning.com/radio.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Excited to talk about my Sicily and Malta trip. It's called the Sicily and Malta Mosaic. It's happening in October of 2025. You've heard me rave about Fox World Travel. Rose Gray will join us as well. This is a chance for a select group of listeners, people who want to have fun with me in Sicily, one of my home countries, obviously, my Italian side. We're going to see everything, all the great coastlines, the charming old towns, ancient ruins, archaeological sites. Hey, active volcano, if that's your thing, Mount Etna. Then we had the beautiful Malta, one of the smallest and friendliest countries in the world. It is a separate country now, and it's also the site of some of the most ancient civilizations on our planet. My wife, Kathy, and I would love to have you join us on this special WTMJ listener trip. To get more information or make a reservation, go to foxworldtravel.com. Just look up the Sicily and Malta Mosaic or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Don't miss out, by the way, on the early booking discount. And if you sign up, send me a quick email, steve.scaffidi@WTMJ.com. I want to know who I'm traveling with. Sicily and Malta Mosaic. Call today.
Gorgeous new roofs, showstopper siding, or classic brick and stonework. How about modern windows and regal doors that'll make your chin hit the floor? To a lot of people, having these things can really make them enjoy where they live. It makes them proud. But there's always one thing standing in the way. How do I make that happen? At Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, we have excellent financing options for most people in most situations. 12 months, no interest, no payments, and exceptional rates for long-term loans that will beat your bank with no additional fees or hidden costs. You can go to SemperFiRoofing.com to apply for your pre-approval today. We want to make any project affordable to almost any person, and we've gone out of our way to find partners that can help make it happen for you. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Ask about our finance options.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Loziga for Comfort Awnings. You've heard me talk about the wonderful new retractable awning the team at Comfort Awnings installed at my home. Now I can have all the cookouts and get-togethers in my backyard with some extra shade and relaxation for my guests. Comfort Awnings is a local family-owned company in Burlington that provides expert installation in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Now until the end of August, you can receive $200 off any awning or screen. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com to learn more.
Christian Snyder spending a few minutes with us on WTMJ. All right, real quick, somebody asked, where did that go now? Oh, the Zuckerberg thing on the Facebook admitting that they may have done some things they shouldn't have when it comes to like the COVID posts and such. Do you have a comment on that?
There was a big thing during the Twitter Files era where people were saying the government was forcing private companies to withhold information. That would be a First Amendment violation. Social media companies can withhold whatever they want, and the government can suggest, if there's a terrorist plot, the government can suggest that social media companies not print something.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the case here. The problem gets to be when the government is starting to threaten action against somebody. That would be a First Amendment violation. So we'll see how this all shakes out. It certainly doesn't look good.
Hey, real quick, to mute or not to mute all this rigmarole about the about the debate coming up September 10th, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Kamala Harris thinks Trump is going to be exactly who Trump has been for the last 30 years and rant and rave and wants this all to be on microphone. Trump's people want the microphones to be muted, so he isn't able to do that. I still love the people who think that Trump can stay on message. Of course, he's not. So it's definitely advantage Kamala Harris if the mics are not muted, because he's just going to he's going to talk over her and be rude, and she can have her moment where she says, "Stop talking over me."
Yeah, I mean, use it to your advantage. If he's going to rant and rave, blow him up for ranting and raving, and say something significant that people say, "Oh, you know what? Maybe she can stand up to him." All right, I want to make sure that I always mention that you do some great work besides politics, and one of the great things you do is the "Wasn't That Special" podcast on the great television show, sometimes better than others, some years better than others, on Saturday Night Live. How do folks find your podcast?
It's at wasn'tthatspecial.com. That's all one word, wasn'tthatspecial.com. Or you can find us on Twitter at 50 Years of SNL.
And what season are you on?
We're just finishing season 30, and, we just had one hosted by Donald Trump, where he is exactly the same Donald Trump as he is now. So
no surprises there. Christian Snyder will do it again in a couple of weeks. Thanks for your time, man.
Great, thanks.
All right, we got the local news coming up. We got the ABC News. Second half hour, Jeremy Janine is going to start joining us every week and talk about some local politics, something that's very fresh in his mind, and a whole lot more. That's all coming up the second half hour. So local news coming up with Eric Bilstead. Before that, the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Dramatic rescue in Gaza. A 52-year-old hostage taken on October 7th has been released. IDF spokesperson Daniel Hagari says the rescue took place in a Gaza tunnel.
We cannot go into many details of this special operation, but I can share that Israeli commandos rescued Qaid Farhan el-Qadi from an underground tunnel, following accurate intelligence.
Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg has sent a letter to Congress saying the government pressured him to take down certain content during the pandemic. The White House says it encouraged responsible actions to protect public health and safety during that time. Extreme heat blanketing a large part of the U.S. Some 70 million Americans are under some sort of heat advisory today. In Chicago, the heat index could hit 110 degrees this afternoon. Federal judge in Texas issuing a temporary pause on the Biden administration's new protections that would allow undocumented migrant spouses of U.S. citizens a path to citizenship. This is
Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 9:31. We Energy's crews are busy restoring power. Still about 2,000 customers out this hour as we deal with this sweltering heat. Across the state, there are 14,000 utility customers without electricity at this hour. All municipal beaches in Lake Geneva are now closed. The Walworth County Public Health Department says this is a precautionary measure because of the blue-green algae blooms spreading across Geneva Lake. And Packers kicker Anders Carlson is out of a job. Green Bay cut Carlson today as they pare down to the 53-man roster by 3 this afternoon. Time now for news about your money. And the WTMJ Annex Wealth up right around Loomis. A crash there westbound 894 near Loomis and the shoulder that's slowing things down for you as you're dealing with that. Plus, you're also seeing eastbound similar delays in that stretch. Of course, you got the road work too, but it is slow in both directions of 894. The WTMJ 5-day forecast. It's hot. Excessive heat warning is going to kick in here in a couple of hours. We also have the heat advisory for most of the area. The heat index could hit 110 today. And there's a chance for some storms later on today. Tonight, still a chance for evening storms. Still warm and muggy, a low of 70. Tomorrow, still humid. Slight chance for storms, a high of 79. Thursday, still humid, a high of 78. Won't be as bad as it is today. Friday, partly cloudy, still a chance for storms, a high of 82. Saturday, less humidity, a high of 81. I'm Eric Bilstead, Saudi Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:33.
Stay and play in Lake Geneva, the Midwest's premier golf destination. With 10 challenging courses for all abilities and skill levels, breathtaking views, crystal clear lakes, and rolling fairways. Enjoy an all-inclusive golf getaway with luxurious lodging, distinctive dining, and a relaxing spa. Plan a group golf outing, a corporate event, or a weekend getaway with friends or family. For course information and more, go to visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva. It's always been the place for legendary golf.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. I love talking about ADAIR, ADAIR Floors and Remodeling, South 27th Street in Franklin. Been in business, get this, 65 years. They have a design team ready to help with all your flooring and remodeling needs. They did my kitchen floor 20 plus years ago. Still looks amazing. Owner Rob could not believe how good it looked. They did my basement landing area recently. Looks fantastic. Sort of the wood plank look that a lot of people are going to. Looks amazing. Home or business, doesn't matter. Family owned and operated. They can also do remodeling things for you that whatever you kind of need, they can kind of work to hit your needs in your house or business. Family owned and operated right there in Franklin. Stop in, tell them Scaffidi sent you, or visit them online at Adair Floors, ADAIR Floors.com.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
Why trust Grandview Homes to buy your home? It's simple. We make the home selling process fast, easy, and stress-free, even if your home is less than perfect. No real estate agents, no repairs, no cleanouts needed. Leave the mess and the stress to us. At Grandview Homes, we live and work in your neighborhoods. Our reputation is built on 15 years treating sellers with the dignity and respect they deserve. Visit GrandviewHomes.com for your fair cash offer today. Grandview Homes, the fastest and easiest way to sell your home.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Advent. Not Advent. What am I doing right here? Help me out, Charlie. What am I doing right here? Jeremy Janine. That's what we're... See, I thought I was doing a commercial there, but now it's just you. I was waiting for the music to start.
You want to promote me for a half hour?
Let's get your mic on. It's all sorts of chaos going on in the studio. All right, now we're good. Jeremy Janine's joining us as he will every week in this slot. So, Urban Milwaukee is where you see his great work, but he's in and around politics in the city and in the state. Sorry for that screw up. All right, so a couple things. You had some excitement in your life, which sort of translates to a story about emergency services in Milwaukee. So sort of set the tone here and tell us what happened.
Yeah, yesterday coming home, normal day, biking home. I see my daughter and my wife. They're getting out of the car. They had just had a wonderful time at the Schultz Aquatic Center, or Cool Waters, I think, in Greenfield. It doesn't matter for the story. And she's running up to me, and then I hear this breaking glass sound. Okay, that's kind of weird. Sounds like someone dropped a vase, but it sounds like it's outside. And then I kind of hear that pop crackle sound. And my wife's in my brain. My wife gets the words out first. Is there a fire? We look across the street. Sure enough, there's smoke coming out of our neighbor's house.
Wow.
Call 911. Well, that's dialing. We start to see more smoke coming out. Then all of a sudden, flames are coming out their window. And when I'm on the phone, I am reminded immediately of my past coverage of, oh yeah, this 911 process is not perfect when you don't need the police department. And that's because in Milwaukee, when you call 911, the police department answers the phone. They're in the same building as the fire department, but you give them information, and then they say, okay, wait. And we waited. And when you're watching flames, every second seems like it's minutes in an eternity. And then eventually you're transferred to the fire department, whose first question, if I remember correctly, was, okay, where are you? Which was the question I'd answer to the police department.
So this is related to the implementation of this CAD system they're using now. Millions of dollars invested. It's a software company that they're utilizing. Hexagon, I think, is the name. It's been delayed. They've had a lot of back and forth on this. You're not saying that the response is delayed. It's a little sort of discombobulating, confusing.
Yeah, I want to give all the credit to the Milwaukee Fire Department and the Cudahy and St. Francis Department. They did a wonderful job once they were on scene. And in this specific instance, if they were there 20 seconds faster, I don't think it would have made a difference. My neighbor's house is in, unfortunately, shambles at the end. But what happens is you make this call in this dispatching system. There's basically two different systems operating between police and fire, and they had this grand vision going back to 2020 to merge them. That instead of calling the fire department, you would call the dispatch department, the communications center. And this software system could not handle the city's expectations. The city would have been the first major customer for this Hexagon. I forget exactly what their product is called. Hexagon's the company. So in the run-up to the RNC, the city got this temporary system in place, but it maintains this bifurcated, you call the police department, then we transfer you to the fire department.
How much of this is known by the public? Because I'll be honest, I didn't really pay much attention to this story.
I don't think very little until you call 911. And unfortunately, I've had to do this multiple times recently. The same issue plays out. I had to call for a Hone Bridge incident and you call the police department, and this is more complicated to solve because you call the police department, then they have to transfer you to the sheriff, and it's obviously two different agencies, but they overlap. It's just a really uncomfortable experience at what is often someone's worst moment of their life.
What's the timeline for correction, new implementation? What do we know?
From February 2024, the city has a 2-year option to be able to convert to this new system. But again, the question is this new system going to work? They tried to convert before and it failed. And what I wrote about back in 2023 was all these closed door meetings of hush, hush, what's going wrong here? Now it was made clear to me the problem is on the vendor's end, but the problem ultimately then falls to the citizens' end of we need a better response.
Yeah, and I want to say that the fire department and the city they're doing I think a pretty good job in responding to these calls. I don't think we have necessarily a response problem. It's more of, I think, of a communication problem at this moment. And as you say, it's rather disconcerting when you're seeing a home up in flames and you're trying to get this thing processed. Hey, get these people help. That's always a hard.
Yep. I think they're called ECOs, the dispatch operator, emergency communication. They were absolute professionals through the whole thing. Fire department, absolute professionals. Just the process of which they must exist in is difficult.
Yeah, I mean, all these things have to be worked out, and technology changes, and certainly the implementation of all these new technologies, software. There's always going to be a little bit of a growing pains and learning period. So hopefully that smooths out. Jeremy Janine, Urban Milwaukee, is my contributor on this Tuesday. Every Tuesday going forward. We will take a break here. Lots more to get to, including Jeremy was around the DNC in Chicago last week. We'll get his thoughts on how that all sounded and looked. Listening, of course, to Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Now I'm talking about Advent. I had some snoring issues. I've told you about them. It's a few years back now. I went to Advent as a client, and I wasn't a spokesperson then. I said, I need to fix this because I was getting a lot of poor sleep, not good sleep, not restful sleep, and had a lot of tired mornings. So my nose wasn't working properly. I could tell that. Wasn't getting enough oxygen to my brain sometimes, it felt like. So I went to Advent, 30-minute visit, and they put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, they determined the root cause of my problem, sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. After a short procedure, back to breathing better than ever. And this is 3.5 years ago now. Sleeping through the whole night, great, refreshing, uninterrupted sleep. If you struggle like I did with the restless nights, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
The little one just took her first steps. Her stride? Wobbly.
Oh my gosh, she's doing
Her parents? Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, watch out.
But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score for Choice and Platinum Choice checking customers. So while you're monitoring and protecting her every move, you can do the same for your credit score, too. You've got this with free credit score from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
We love being a trusted friend in the community for those who need an attorney but don't know where to turn. Our clients aren't the kind of people who typically bring lawsuits. Our clients have been hurt in a crash or accident and need our help and advice. I'm Frank Pasternak of Pasternak & Zergabel. Jeff Zergabel and I are injury attorneys living, working, and giving back in our community. When you need help from exceptional personal injury lawyers, go to Pasternak & Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com.
The Parker bedroom is Penny Mustard's most popular Louis Philippe-inspired design.
Louis who?
He was the king of France.
The Parker bedroom is a classic.
Solid wood construction, forever tight bed brackets,
and hidden storage compartments in every piece.
I love France.
Really?
Especially the fries.
Oh.
And the toast.
The Parker bedroom, starting at just $280 a month with only 1 penny down and no interest till September of 2027 through September 8th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
All right, let's give him a proper introduction. I fumbled the beginning of this segment earlier. Jeremy Janine, Urban Milwaukee, joining us on the Political Power Hour, 620 WTMJ. A rocking introduction. Listen to that.
Here we go.
Wow, we're fired up. You were fired up. You were around the DNC in Chicago last week. So what did you witness in one of the largest cities in America as they celebrated Politics 2024?
Well, I was there. I can't move my anniversary, so apparently I scheduled a trip to a city hosting a political convention.
Didn't pay attention to the political schedule.
My wife and I had a wonderful time, and that's kind of what I wanted.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. 8 years. Love you, Allison. The experience in Chicago, and Kristen Bride talked a lot about this very well because she was down there on the ground. It was just transportation, logistics everywhere. And we saw this. We stayed up in River North, which is kind of the area just north of the Loop. Mm-hmm. It turned out we had booked an Airbnb. It was surprisingly affordable compared to what kind of hotels we're going for in Milwaukee. And I think that has to do a bit with the scale of Chicago. Also, I think we booked so late that everyone else was already booked. But we stayed near essentially what are the 4 or 5 star hotels near Michigan Avenue. And it turns out, that's the one we pieced together. Joe Biden was staying there. Kamala Harris was staying here. And the logistics on that, they seemed less secure than the Pfister Hotel, but everything else, in Milwaukee, we had the one motorcade when Trump would go back and forth from the Pfister to Fiserv Forum and back. There were 4 or 5 vehicle motorcades flying around all the time. Everyone we talked to in terms of we went on a kayak tour, we took a couple lift rides. The consensus was, it seems slower than usual. And I was like, that's a familiar refrain. But really there was a pace of people just McCormick Place back to the United Center. And it's interesting to be in a city that's hosting a convention but not actually going to the convention.
Yeah, I know Chicago a little bit. I worked there a long time ago, but my daughters still live in the Chicago area, Chicagoland area. And I don't know if they could have done it any differently because obviously McCormick is set up for those big gathering, meetings and such. And then obviously United Center was the stage and all that. I don't know if they could have done it any differently and put them closer together because it seems rather convoluted and silly to have that big separation of space between the two major parts of this convention.
And I'm going to go to spanning the state and steal Kristen's thunder a little bit. She wisely noted that it's way more desirable probably to be in Milwaukee where the Baird Center and Fiserv Forum
it was unbelievable how easy it was. Yeah,
I don't know how you could have done it any different in Chicago. It seemed well coordinated. But there was just so much movement required to get between everything.
Other than putting a temporary roof over Soldier Field, I don't know, and which is not going to happen. I think that would be the only way they could have done it. Or as some people say, and if the Bears organization does this, they may in the future, because Chicago's hosted probably more conventions than anybody.
Yes, I saw that list, and they were way ahead of everyone.
Yeah, so, it's something that's going to happen out in the future. And one of the thoughts about building a new stadium for the Bears and other events is it has either retractable dome or a dome. So that would sort of eliminate that issue because you'd be right down there on the lake for Soldier Field. All right, I want to take a quick break here, and I want to get to some of the other questions. I've got a question about the visit. So we are going to see a lot of visits related to the campaign. Vice presidential candidates, Tim Walz and J.D. Vance, obviously the presidential people here. We got Kamala Harris, and I can't speak today for some reason. I don't know what it is. Is it just that it's Tuesday?
It's the heat.
Is it the heat getting in my brain? Anyway, Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. All right, I do need a break. See, I am discombobulated. A tribute to our friend Dan Schaefer. All right, we'll take a break here. You listen, of course, to Political Power. I'll get it together, and then I'll be done. And Jeff Sherman will have to pick up my slack. All right, that's all coming up.
Wisconsin volleyball has a new home.
It's match point in Madison.
Catch all the excitement of the 2024 season.
Booth and Shrek putting up that Wisconsin wall.
And don't miss out on moments like this.
Booth dunks it down with 2 hands, and that's a point for Wisconsin. Set Shrek, kill Franklin.
Badgers volleyball on WTMJ is presented by Steinhoffels. Don't miss any of the action right here on Wisconsin's radio station, 620 WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management Decision Points. There are many in life. As simple as for what's for lunch. Then again, it can be as complex as when it takes Social Security. That's a big decision. What does my tax burden look like? Or are my investments overlapping and inefficient? On the way to retirement, there are many decision points, and it's easy to miss a few. It's time to talk with Annex Wealth Management to button things up. I did this a couple of years ago, never looked back. Annex is a fee-only fiduciary. That matters. It's about you, not commissions. Take full advantage of the CFPs, CFAs, CPAs and PhDs and attorneys that are on staff, part of your team working on investment, retirement, estate, and tax planning. No one is the same. Annex gets that. You might need help with your Social Security strategy. How about 401k options, pension plan guidance, annuity analysis? When you're a client of Annex, help is only a visit or a quick phone call away. Take action. Know the difference. Start at annexwealth.com.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. Brands from Carhartt to Milwaukee to Purina to Goodyear to Rapala to Levi's and a whole lot more. In store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus.
Who do you support?
We support the right. And the left.
What?
The front and back, too.
I don't understand.
No matter which side you sleep on, we support you. And right now, we're providing extra support.
How's that?
Purchase a new Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, or Serta Perfect Sleeper through Monday and get a strong, supportive box spring free. Plus, free next-day delivery.
Well, you got my vote.
Find a self-service, employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
Had family and friends over this summer, realized you are not proud of your outdoor space? Vince Vitrano here. Call my partners at Great Lakes Landscape. Having a big party? Get them out to the house with some new colorful plants, perennials, spruce things up. Or maybe we're going big and bold with a retaining wall, paver patio, fire pit, anything in between. With Great Lakes Landscape, you get an experienced consultant to draw up your dream plan and an expert crew of professionals to install it. Act now so you do not have to wait in line in spring. Great Lakes Landscape. That's Great Lakes Landscape, WI.com.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Jeremy Janine, my guest from Milwaukee, is where he does his great work. All right, so we're going to be bombarded, my turn, with visits by vice presidential candidates, the presidential nominees, Kamala Harris, and obviously former President Donald Trump in the weeks and months ahead. And we only got, 69 days or something to the election. I don't know what the exact number is, but let's say 70. I guess my question is, regardless of what you think about Milwaukee and Madison, the state capital and the biggest city in the state, economic engine, it's not even close as far as the superpower economically of Milwaukee, why Republicans, for the most part, ignore it. They don't come here. They don't at least dip their toe in the waters of saying to people who hear that maybe want to listen to a Donald Trump or a J.D. Vance, give them an opportunity. I think it's a missed opportunity for me.
I think if you look at Wisconsin last time, 21,000, 22,000 vote division, you move Dane County by a single percentage point.
Anything.
That could be a huge difference. I do think we're seeing Trump and Vance both in La Crosse and De Pere, respectively, this week. We don't have any visits formally by Harris or Walz, but we have Elizabeth Warren running around the state. We had 6 cabinet secretaries from the Biden administration here in the last 3 weeks, which is really insane.
I can see it in my inbox, all the visits that people want to talk to me on the radio about.
And it's the real shadow campaign that we're here to talk about agriculture, but maybe we'll talk up President Joe Biden's achievements.
While we're talking about it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But get back to your original question, the core point of what you're saying. I really expect in those last couple weeks when you want to go somewhere as fast as you can and set up an event as fast as you can, Dane County, Milwaukee County, those are going to be the easy places to host events. They'll be right at the airport or real close to the airport. They'll be in and out.
Serious question, because you cover some of this stuff. And I used to go to some of these things, mainly for state races, but I don't really go to that stuff anymore because I can literally just talk to journalists and get what they saw or what they perceived happen at these events. As we have all these things, does it change the mindset of a voter, do you think, or is it just preaching to the choir?
We had an Urban Milwaukee member event last week. Some of the people that were at the event were telling me, unsolicited, that they went on Tuesday to the Harris-Walz event.
Oh, a big event, 18,000 people.
And they were clearly ready to run through a brick wall at that point.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, and I think Bill McCoshen has made this point wisely, your regular Friday guest. It is a get out the vote effort. You're not necessarily changing minds, but you're making sure people are voting. You're making sure they're telling their friends about voting. They're dragging their family members, anyone they can. That's the value of those ads.
I mean, that's classic Bill McCoshen, sorting through the BS, and making it really clear that it's an enthusiasm thing, not necessarily a switching of voters' mind or a candidate. Real quick, because we talked about this last time, and we were just starting to get into this story. The county and the city of Milwaukee have some serious budget challenges. Any recent developments on that? It's sort of moving the needle on any of those conversations?
Not major moving the needle. There's a big distinction between the city and the county, and that is the county has a budget problem closing its 2024 books right now. It's projected to be $20 million short, and that's because the sales tax number, the money comes in, but they each estimate it before the year, and the county estimated too high. And that's now biting them. They have overtime in the sheriff's department biting them. They have issues there.
So, I mean, when you look at that, I mean, we all talked about how their problems were being solved by the cooperation agreement with the state and Act 12 and all that stuff. But really, if you don't have realistic expectations, again, sales tax is sort of a moving figure. So that's hard to calculate sometimes. But if you're over optimistic, it can really bite you in the you-know-what. And I think from a taxpayer perspective, at least Milwaukee County taxpayer, you got to sort this stuff out. And it's one thing to want to do stuff, but I think voters almost universally now are saying, all right, spend our money properly, whether it's school district of Milwaukee, any school district, Wauwatosa now in the news. Spend our money efficiently and properly. And if you're not doing that, we're going to question the whole process.
Yeah, every decision you made all of a sudden is cast under the light when you have this problem. Going backwards, everything you did is, well, wait, you did this, and that was a mistake now, and that was a mistake. And that's what Milwaukee County is experiencing.
Yeah, and interesting, on the school side of things, school board members, and I know probably 100 of them still serving in school boards around the state, it always was to their school district and their administration. All right, give us the numbers. We'll look at it. But they're not accountants. They trust that the CFOs essentially for the school districts and the superintendents are knowledgeable and understand what they're doing. So from a citizen school board member perspective, they have to trust those people. And once that breaks down to the tune of $4 million or more in Tosa or whatever the Milwaukee number is now, it's number. Chaos. And school board members will lose their job for something that they trusted somebody else with to do the right job.
That is the danger of part-time board oversight.
My goodness. All right. Jeremy Janine, Urban Milwaukee, let's give a plug for your publication.
UrbanMilwaukee.com, daily publication covering all things City of Milwaukee, Milwaukee County, state of Wisconsin.
Real great local reporting. And Jeremy Janine will be here every Tuesday at 9:35 going forward. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great Labor Day weekend. All right, that's it for us on the Political Power Hour. Coming up after the news, local and national from ABC, The Upswing with Jeff Sherman.
Your only option is to replace your air conditioner, your boiler, your furnace. Vince Vitrano here for Absolute Comfort HVAC and Electrical, talking with the owner, Nicole.